Welcome to Mr. Beast Burger, home of the Mr. Beast Burger. Can I take your order?
Yeah, man. I'd like a Mr. Beast Burger and some Beast fries.
I don't know what that is. What the fuck? Why did you just make us say that?
You guys haven't heard about Mr. Beast Burger?
No.
All right.
It better be good because you've been hyping it all for the last hour.
I spent 2 days on social media just hearing about fucking Mr. Beast Burger and going down a Mr. Beast Burger rabbit hole.
Never came across my path.
So basically 2 days ago, 300 Mr. Beast Burgers opened around the country simultaneously.
Hell yeah. Pop up, Mr.
You
Beast
say
Burger
open,
pop
what do you
up.
mean?
Well, Greg, when I say open, what do I mean? That's part of the mystery of this. Because
what's a Mr. Beast Burger? It's a burger restaurant?
Well, let's go back to the early days of YouTube 2 years ago.
Cool. So, I'm following.
So there's a guy on YouTube named Mr. Beast who has a channel that is inexplicably popular. And to give you guys an idea, he had a huge hit in 2017 where he just counted from 1 to 100,000 in a video that's literally fucking 24 hours long.
Hey, man, grinding that content. Got to respect.
It has 21 million views.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so he's doing better numbers than us. What's your point?
Yeah, more people watch this idiot count to 100,000 than will like see the next fucking Star Wars movie. Like, this is an insane amount of people who watch this fucking video of a guy, once again, literally just counting to 100,000, right? And to give you an idea of what a fucking weirdo this guy is I guess it was in like 2018. There was this contest between PewDiePie, who is also a YouTuber, and T-Series, where they were competing to see who would have the most YouTube subscribers, right? And who could have the most of any YouTube channel. And Mr. Beast is such a weirdo that he actually went out and with his own money purchased billboards and radio ads to boost PewDiePie's numbers because they're buds. So...
So these are like alt-right figures, right?
Yeah, I can always. Main thing to understand: fucking psychos. This is psycho shit, and so
rich psycho shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is like so. Mr. Beast is constantly giving away like large sums of money. So he's based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. When the Beast Burgers opened, the one physical location in Raleigh, which was a mystery of where it was. I think he had just posted a photo of it, but you couldn't find it on any sort of like app or anything like that. And I don't even know if it even had a sign outside, but it was just a building with no windows and only a drive-through. And apparently when there was a line around the block to go to it. And apparently when people would come up for their Beast Burger, he would just give them like $50,000, like just out the window, just hand them like stacks of bills. Somebody got in a car wreck trying to get to the Beast Burger, and he just bought them a car. I don't understand how YouTube is monetized, but there's no fucking way. Like, where does this money come from? I have no fucking idea. So, the Beast Burger, 300 opened up around the country. How's that possible? Well, you can only order them via delivery apps, DoorDash, all that shit, right?
Okay.
So that's the only way you can order from it. There's no clue as to where the physical locations of them are. And they are using what they're calling ghost kitchens to cook it. And I have tried to find what the fuck they're talking about for so long. And what I think it is, and I don't know for sure, is restaurants that like aren't maybe doing business on their own. They're just sort of like Uberizing the restaurants and be like, cook like a Beast Burgers on the side and like send those out for delivery.
Yeah.
I've given you all this information. I've looked into this for days now. I don't understand this. I don't understand the world we live in.
So this guy,
I don't understand this guy.
This YouTube entrepreneur, philanthropist has created a new fast food chain brand without the need for a physical location because you order it online like Amazon, and then the actual production is outsourced to the food delivery apps and and other kitchens that are in service. Probably, restaurants that are doing takeout already. They just were maybe supplied with the bags,
Yeah.
in the recipe.
Yeah, and so they
cool.
refer to
They
refer to it as a virtual restaurant, and I guess it's done with this group called Virtual Dining Concepts, and yeah, it's like pretty inexplicable. I did see some restaurant workers complain that it's basically more work for them for like the same pay that they were getting before, right? So it's just like getting more shit thrown on you at a restaurant. But again, this is madness.
So
you're staring into the darkness now.
The money was just a marketing thing aspect of this.
Yeah, him giving money out the window in North Carolina, that was just to promote the restaurant and the opening day of it or whatever. And like I said, as far as I can tell, that's the only one that you can go to that has like a physical location. Yeah. So, even that one, though, you can't go inside. And every picture I saw of it, there's literally no windows. It's just a cinder block building like all around. So basically, I'm just imagining like just some like horrifying mutants inside.
Well, I think there's probably guys with shotguns inside protecting the cash.
That's this glue, man.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be shitting out a golden piece of lettuce or something.
So yeah, this is us literally staring into the abyss. I did see a bunch of people were posting their pictures of their food that they had ordered, and it was like all of it looked like shit. One guy described it as looking like a dirty diaper, but then followed up, but it tastes okay.
Well, I mean, how do you do, there's not any real quality control or like, proper scaling in this business model.
Yeah. Some people were mad at the rareness of all the food that they got. Including chicken sandwiches and stuff that were fried on the outside and raw on the inside.
Sweet. So, that's how you want your meat.
So I think the quality control thing might be an issue for future virtual restaurants.
So is this just, I mean, maybe this is the obvious take, but is this just going to be everything now?
Yeah.
Like where brands that we think of, will just exist virtually, and even the Jack in the Boxes and the Burger Kings will not exist. They won't even have combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell anymore. They'll just be unsigned cinder block buildings that have massive assembly line kitchens that make all of the food that gets delivered to your house.
Yeah.
Just like an Amazon warehouse.
Yeah.
You don't go to, whatever store to buy something from Amazon. You go there and they ship it to you. They've got it all in just in a warehouse because of things. So now you will just like go to, well, probably eventually Amazon, but for now, Grubhub. And you like, I'd like the classic, Taco Bell Mexican pizza and an extra large Sprite, please. And throw in some Mexi nuggets. And it just comes from an Amazon warehouse style kitchen, like for which there'd be like large regional distribution centers, but then there would, to keep the food hot, there'd have to be like, in every neighborhood, there'd be one of these, but you don't only need the one, so think of all the overhead that is saved about these physical locations, the staff, where you could do it'd all be 24 hours, right? You'd never not be able to get food again, right? This would be part of the selling point of this great cultural shift.
Yeah.
It was like the economy of scale of this is so incredible that like obviously it'd be 24 hours because you'd be able to keep that kitchen cranking with 5 or 10 people 24 hours, no problem, or down maybe in the middle wee hours, it's down to 2 people,
Well, and basically so like in Europe, they have these vending machines that have like real food in them. You just go up and like pop your euro in or whatever, right? And you like pull out like a pot roast. Right? I mean, there's like weird, like real food in it.
Yeah, they used to call that. They used to have those here too.
Yeah,
but
I think this is, like you said, this is that, except for with the Amazon distribution model on top, and then with the branding of a, because they're all going to end up being branded by probably like some freak from fucking YouTube like this guy, but they're all going to be branded. So whereas you would go to the little vending machine to get your fucking sandwich or whatever, it'd be cheap because you got it out of the little vendor. This one, it's going to be like same quality, just way more expensive because you're buying it from like Ninja's restaurant or whatever. You know?
Well, I'm sure they'll be undercutting the price first for a few years for us, right? Like loss leading on it. It's we can enjoy our slightly discounted fillet of fish meals for a few years, because we're ordering it at home and not sitting down and playing at the play place.
Yeah.
No ball pit. There's no ball pit in this future, people. But just to think about that, like imagine a vast kitchen full of wage slaves, all making food on the same griddles, the same assembly lines, but it's every restaurant. It's all, and the only difference is they pull up a different menu and instructions for if you want, but in the same order for the same household. Imagine this: you're sitting at home, and you and your family. Some people want to go to Burger King, some people want to go to McDonald's, and you know what? You can just get on the app, and you can order at the same time from the same app a Whopper and a Big Mac.
Yeah.
And it's made in the same kitchen by the same person and then put into two different bags, a McDonald's bag and a Burger King bag, and brought to your house by the same also wage slave app worker.
It's Monopoly.
Finally, our nation can heal.
This is what we've all wanted, really.
Well, guys,
the ultimate choice. You know what I mean? Look, we're talking efficiency. We like that in America. What we really love is choice, consumer fucking choice. This is like, because look, there's going to be all the brands we know and love. They will be there. You know what we can also do if we do this? We can bring back all the brands we've forgotten that we ever loved. We can have retro brands come back. Okay. We can, because there's no overhead. It's all about, we can bring back. Yeah, dude, fucking, what are
Mr.
some...
Gaddy's Pizza. That's a local one for Texas residents.
I mean...
bring it all back.
Fucking, are there Godfathers anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple.
But, Red Lobster. I don't know. You can stuff from the 50s that doesn't exist anymore. I wish I could think of something like
it's Red Lobster, but it's Shrimp Fest all the time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just when you want more shrimp, you just hit it on the app again. Like, bring me more shrimp scampi, and just bring you a bucket of shrimp scampi. Well, Mr. Beast Burger, they sell T-shirts on their website, and the T-shirt is literally just the menu of the restaurant.
Well, I mean, again, efficiency. So you're going to have, in the future, we're going to have all the brands we know and love. Mm-hmm. Any old brands, people come back as like retro, like bring it back, old time. You can have some weird, thing from I don't have like encyclopedic fast food knowledge. Like that's not my thing. So, but
Skippers.
Fucking Skippers.
Skippers is gone.
Dude, fucking okay. So you got the fucking popcorn. Remember the good old days when we get the popcorn shrimp from Skippers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can order that. It'll come in the same reprinted bag, like the same. They'll have the same like maze on the back that you did as a kid.
They'll have to remember to put it in the Skipper's bag as opposed to the Long John Silver's bag.
Yeah. The angry Yelp reviews for the people who fuck up their retro fast food delivery dining experience. Holy shit. But there will also be, because of this, there will also be able to be like novelty random, and fictional places too. So you get this guy, he's done this novelty new YouTube creation brand that will either be folded into the new order or will never be heard about again after a month. And then the new order will bring it back in 10 years. Like, do you remember Mr. Beast Burger? Mr. Beast Burger? Yeah.
You can a classic Chandler style burger from Mr. Beast Burger.
You'll always be able to get the McRib. You'll always be able to get the Szechuan sauce.
You'll always be able to get breakfast no matter what time of day.
Oh my God. Breakfast 24 hours a day. Every breakfast menu.
And you
can have the Egg McMuffin and the like Jack in the Box whatever breakfast sandwich.
Well, it'll be this egg sandwich is for Greg. Make sure you do not put it in the Starbucks bag this time. All right, he got very upset last time. Well,
but there'll also be able to be, again, because of the economies of scale of this, because it's all the only like differentiation is the recipe
Packaging.
for foods that are basically the same, and the packaging, which then they'll be able to do fictional shit. All the restaurants from your fucking TV shows that you love and your fucking movies.
Like the Mel's Diner, you can finally try the fish.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it'll all be there.
Well, it's decided, guys. For Christmas this year, I'm getting each of you and me Mr. Beast Burger gift card.
How I learned to stop worrying and love indigestion.
So this is basically drop shipping, though, right? Essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It's drop shipping. It's the Amazon model. It's like, it's all of it together, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Bon appetit.
Your tattoos are so deep, they really make me think.
All right. Welcome back to Mr. Good Burger. Oh, wait. Welcome back to Seattle Sucks, podcast about hating the city that we love. We're here chomping on our Mr. Beast Burger and having a great time.
Thanks for taking us down that absurd rabbit hole, Brian. I've seen a vision of the future. Let's not lose track of that intro, because we're gonna want to play that back in 10 years.
Well, nothing was more upsetting than bringing this up to the two of you, both of you just staring blankly at me after this consumed me for days.
Yeah, he was like, "Didn't you see it all over Twitter?" Like, I couldn't stop looking. I was like, "We're like, what the fuck are you talking about?" Anyway, folks, as we get close to the big holiday, the one that matters, Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I mean by that exactly, but
it's the only one I recognize.
Yeah, Christmas is coming at the end of this week.
I hear it comes this time each year.
If you want to,
it is Christmas in the Northwest.
Oh yeah, okay. If you want to hear us play Christmas in the Northwest and lots of other good tunes, you should tune in to our Patreon only Seattle Sucks Christmas / The Great Conjunction, the Coming of the Age of Aquarius special. Patreon.com/Seattle Sucks, where we will be celebrating the reappearance of the Star of Bethlehem just in time for Christmas, as well as the coming of the Age of Aquarius, long foretold. The Great Conjunction is upon us as of today, this day, as of this recording. The stars and signs have aligned.
I know I got conjunctivitis,
and we're gonna have all that explained to us by our friend Cassidy Butler, who will be celebrating these great momentous times with us, as well as reading our charts. So our birth charts. We've given her our birth info, and we await the unfolding of the rest of our lives. So check that out on Patreon. And we were going to have Cassidy on for this episode to talk about the Washington Campaign Workers Collective and some exciting stuff that's going on about that. But that'll have to wait till probably sometime in the new year. But that's going to be an ongoing thing. I might get a little bit of a brief update in the Patreon episode, because I know some big things did happen with that. What do we got, guys?
That news is too explosive. It would be simply irresponsible for us to voice that on our listeners now, given its explosive nature.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not just that Cassie's lazy and didn't want to do it.
Yeah. It's not just that another guest doesn't want to talk to us.
After we bought our headphones.
Mm-hmm. I see how it is. Well, guys, Christmas comes this time each year, and just like Christmas, so does the COVID death rate. It goes up this time each year. We're now past 320,000. We had 250,000 new cases in a single day, which is a record internationally as well as at home. And I did see that apparently 1 in 100 people in Tennessee now have have been diagnosed with COVID in like the last week.
What is the death rate in North Dakota at this point? Do we know that? Because
A while back, it was 1 in 1,000 North Dakotans.
I saw like 2 weeks ago, it was already up to 1 in 800.
Yeah, it's
so. Are we at
winning
to 1 in 500 yet?
Yeah, I mean, probably getting there. And the big one is Tennessee is having like a huge outbreak, and it's apparently like the hottest place in the country right now. But they are just now debating whether or not they should have like mask mandates or whatever. I mean, in typical American fashion, zero preparation for up to this point, and now everybody's staring at their hands, going, "But how could this happen?"
Yeah, we didn't know that COVID loved country music. Just a big honky tonk fan.
So, yeah, there's 1,200 deaths in North Dakota. And North Dakota has, 5,000 people living in it? So, it's not 1 in 5. But yeah, North Dakota, like many states in America, will soon be outstripping China for COVID deaths. It just, bulk numbers.
Incredible.
This
is truly the shittiest country on earth.
Yeah, it's astounding.
It's amazing to sit back and think like it would have been better to be just about anywhere else.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's weird. This is what we are. Look, we have perfected. This is American exceptionalism, right? Because look, we're all going on with our days. We don't give a shit. I have not gotten the virus. I don't work in a hospital or a restaurant. I mostly don't work, but when I do, I worked this week a little bit, and last week, and I was not exposed to that many people, and there were a lot of precautions. Also, when I do work, there are like enormous precautions taken. Like everyone gets a test, you know, and like I had to get a test to do my job. 2 days of work last week, I had to get a test. So I'm probably not going to get it. So we can just go on and just it really is what that fucking crazy China article was saying. It's like we can take casualties and not give a shit. We just don't. We do not care. We have perfected not giving a shit about other people in this country, not having any collective. Forget God. We've been talking for years in this country on the left about how there's no class consciousness in this country, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just sounds like an absurd thing to say in 2020, like to even bring up. Like,
there's not even like an ounce of humanity in
there
this
is
country.
not an ounce of humanity in this country. There is no concern. I'm not talking just about the people who are the fucking psychos who are like, I'm not going to wear a mask because whatever. Well, I mean, we have them too, but like just as an entire society, the systems we've brought. I mean, I want to care about other people. I don't want to live like this, but even I, because of just the structure of everything of life around us, like I'm just living my life how I normally would. This is an inhuman society.
Yeah. Well, I think this kind of gets to my sort of question on this. At what point, by the way, we've passed all U.S. deaths from World War II.
Oh, that was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, incredible.
So 320,000 dead. Nobody really cares. Pretty much. I mean, I think people acknowledge that it exists. I think everybody's already kind of mentally moving on because, of course, this vaccine rollout that'll definitely happen without any sort of problems or anything like that. That's going to save us. And plus, of course, we'll be believing in science again.
Yeah. But what's the tweet from Jay Inslee I saw the other day going, oh, I'm really frustrated to learn that they're telling us now that our promised COVID vaccine numbers have been cut by 40%. Gosh, what a bummer.
Well, the rollout's already hit huge stacks. But Inslee, I mean, we're peaking, man. Like the virus is worse in this country than it has been at any point in this entire sort of ongoing disaster
Anywhere
And-
on the planet.
Yeah, and Inslee is calling to have kids return to school in January.
Yeah.
Because we got to get back to normalcy, right? And this is the thing. Like this is what Democrats are going to do the second Biden's in office. Is every one of them, every state governor is going to come out and just be like, all kids have to go to the position, like the Republican Democrat governor sort of like thing is going to completely flip, right? And nobody's going to notice, and nobody's going to be like, huh, I wonder if this is all just a game.
Well, they've got
Right.
the ultimate Trump card now. They've got, the vaccine is rolling out.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's happening. They can say it's happening. It's happening right now. And then we're going to be the crazy, the people who get like angsty about shit happening and people suffering and bad governance in this country are going to have, for the next many years are going to be like, I mean, even like certain types of libs, but picture yourself in 2024 in the run up to the next election. Biden is running again. You heard what I said.
Yeah.
Running again on having whipped COVID. And people like us are just pulling their hair out, screaming, "You motherfucker, we plateaued at 70% vaccinations 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and it has barely moved."
Yeah.
That's
And now
that's
there's
what we're looking at.
4 mutated strands of COVID running wild through the country because that's the other part, big news, right? Is that England now has a mutated strand of COVID running wild.
Well, it's everywhere. I mean, they're
And-
noticing, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which was exactly what people had warned about. If you let the disease run wild in your population, like that, this is a risk. But yeah,
If you let the enemy you're fighting multiply
yeah,
billions of fold on a time scale like to them that is like eons, like
yeah,
they're gonna fucking evolve.
yeah. So I mean, this is the thing. Is you're totally right. When we talked about this off
and
air,
we still don't know. They're in England where they have the most data on this so far. They're saying like, look, there's no reason to suspect that these new mutations are any more virulent. Though some people are going like, no, it seems like they are, or that they won't respond to the vaccine.
Yeah.
But they're saying it like that. They like they'll say it over and over again, but all they're really saying is we have no reason to suspect that. So they're just saying we have no idea. All the shit they're rolling out now, if it turns out that it's not effective against that, I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
maybe it'll be partially. We don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a giant fucking disaster. I mean, that's one thing we do know, and we had talked about this off air at one point, but we are firmly coming down the side that if Joe Biden is alive in 4 years, which Greg is convinced he will be,
I'm not convinced he will be.
He's definitely running.
I think it's very possible. I think he could die in the next year if his like brain just declines.
Well, I guess what I mean is Greg was going hard on he's probably going to be alive in 4 years.
I
Me and
would,
Colin were pretty hard. I think
if
he's
it's a
definitely
coin
going to be
toss,
dead.
if you want me to
in 4 years.
bet on it, I'd say I'll just bet on him being alive.
Yeah,
I could totally see him dying.
Either way, the point is, I think our point stands. I think we were all in agreement on this. If he is alive, he is running. Like there's literally no situation where he wouldn't be running.
No, I think
other than him being dead.
I mean, I want to say there is a situation. The situation is that he's alive, but his mental faculties have declined so greatly that they can't hide it, that they can't keep up the charade. But the the addendum to that is that would be meaning he's literally a vegetable.
Yeah. That's the level that it would take for them not to try.
It would have to be he like
pull the wool
can't
over our
get
eyes.
out a single sentence.
Yeah.
As long as he can get out a single rehearsed sentence in front of a camera and wave and smile once a month, he will literally run again.
What he's doing now.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
So,
If
but
they
he
can
can still
weaken at
do,
Bernie's,
look, he
he'll
can do
be there.
debates now. He can have like, if they save up his batteries and then they juice him, like, and then they have time for him to like, rest up. Now, how many cycles of that can they do with him? How many, you can only cycle a battery so many times. But no, that's what I think. I'm betting on him being alive, and I'm betting on if that's the case, he would run. The situation that I think would make it different is that he declines mentally to such an extreme degree that they can't hide it, because they will hide. That's what you got to understand is like yes, everyone is saying like, oh, he won't run because that'd be crazy. But what's going to develop? Even fucking Jill Biden is probably thinking that too. But what's going to develop around Biden? We've said this before, is a group of people who are actually running the White House, right? From chiefs of staff to Jill Biden to any number of other cabinet people, other White House advisors, national security advisor,
freaks,
just
ghouls.
Absolute
Yeah,
freaks
Mr.
and ghouls,
Beast.
Democratic Party shitheads, fucking just the worst people alive. And they're going to have to basically partially run the country, and even with him in this state. I mean, and so when that comes time to make that decision to have him run again, and they're going to go, oh, you know what? We can't do this. No, they're going to say, no, we're going to hold on to power. It's going to have that sort of inertia. The only possible, way out of that I see, other than the things we just described, the other one would be that if Kamala Harris is in this power group, is the most powerful person in this power group that is running things from behind the scenes throughout this from the beginning, then it will be in her power to go, okay, yes, we've always said to keep it in the air always that Biden's going to not run again and run herself. But that seems extraordinarily far-fetched to me. There's no reason that Kamala Harris will be even allowed in the room half the time.
Comically incompetent politician.
She brought nothing to this. She has no power. She owes them everything. She owes the people around Biden and Biden himself everything. All she can come in there with some entitlement, like I'm going to run next. But like they're going to, if anything, the instinct for whoever this group of people around Biden and Biden himself will be to discourage that and shut it down.
Yeah, it's more likely, in my mind, it's more likely that we're looking at 1 million plus COVID dead by next election than Kamala Harris, running for president, like in that scenario that you have described happening.
Yeah.
Well, this is sort of my question about this.
If he does die, they'll definitely run her.
Yeah, that's the only way I think, though. So this is my question I have. At what point do you stop being a loon when you say that the 320,000 dead and shit is on purpose? Like, I think at some point they figured out that rich people aren't going to die from this. The only poor people are going to die from this. And I think there's a lot of reasons why they've just let it run rampant. But I think that's part of it. Like every fucking guy, Bill Gates, all the way down, they're all Malthusianists. They all think the world's overpopulated.
Absolutely.
And they all want to kill like a huge chunk of the population of the country they want to die off.
Yeah.
And I think that they're just doing it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Did you see that story out of Stanford where people working from home were getting the vaccine before people that were working like in some hospital or medical facility there?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's totally how it's going to roll out too. I mean, they're doing all this shit where they're like, oh, we're going to roll it out. Like, frontline workers get it first on that. But we know how this country works. That's not how it's going to fucking work.
Right.
Like,
so you say all that, but then at every level, at every fucking, every possible like twist and turn of this, like every crook in a coastline, there will be ways for people to slip through the cracks because America is a nation of cracks. There's no structure to any of it. We obviously don't have a health system. There's no health system where everybody has a file, and in that file says what they do for a living and what their other things are that say, and some scheme has been made based on that to find all those people and vaccinate them in the appropriate order determined by whoever.
Yeah.
So you can say all this shit about who's going to get it first, but in we see in each tranche of what they say, from as much as you can even interpret it, there's always these things that you're like, well, why do those people get it? But that's because that's the thing that actually matters. The little thing that's like, why does the defense contractors get it? You're like, because that's what's going to get an enormous number of powerful people who can find a way to justify it based on that little loophole get it. And then a bunch of other people who are also in that tranche, like frontline workers and healthcare workers, are just going to not get it. And who knows why. It'll be something you're reading books about from journalists fucking 10 years from now going, the numbers, boy, we're never good. But that's how this country works. There's no accountability, frankly.
When I guess, so part of the reason we bring this up is right now we're literally waiting on a Senate vote for this new relief package.
Literally right now. The House passed it this afternoon.
Yeah. And me and Greg watched some very fascinating, it looked like, it's from Bloomberg, but it looked like security cam footage from inside the Senate building. Well, where it was all shaky, people, it was shot, it clearly had too few frames. So people would just kind of move quickly.
Just the C-SPAN cameras, the guy, they're people.
No audio.
They're probably down to a skeleton crew, right? So they just point the camera and walk over to the next one,
But yeah, it was a charming little production. But we're waiting on this vote, and the basic run out of what they're willing to hand out in aid is a means tested one-time $600 check and a temporary $300 addition to people's unemployment
for 10 weeks.
Yeah, for 10 weeks. And this is what I mean when they're just letting people die at this point. This is so fucking absurd. And the obvious fallout that once that they're going to extend the eviction moratorium one more month, which is, we're going to live in this forever now, is this 1 month extension of the eviction moratorium. I actually think what they're going to do is they're just going to put more holes in it every month.
Yeah, of course.
So that the evictions don't come all at once, but it's a slow rollout.
They'll be saying 10 years from now, we're extending the eviction moratorium that applies to no one.
Yeah.
And that when there's fucking 40 million homeless people in America.
Yeah, this is an astonishing... it's going to be, both parties are going to flex and call this a victory. This is an astonishing act of cruelty. $600 fucking dollars in a crisis that, just like the 2008 fucking banking crisis, in a crisis that has seen an enormous amount of money shifted upwards, right? So this entire crisis has taken, probably $1 trillion and just kicked it up to the richest fucking people in the country. And they're basically here's $600 for the trouble. Oh, by the way, we just took everything you have and gave it to fucking Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. So fuck off.
Look, this is what we've been saying for the last year. We talked about this a little, but we watched Chernobyl November last year, I think, and we said, Brian, if America ever had to face a disaster of this scale,
could you imagine?
It would be an absolute catastrophe, and we would just ignore it and let it fucking kill the whole country. And what do you know? That's what's happening. And we've also been saying that this just feels like end of the Soviet Union shit, just the final, the vultures just coming in to fucking rob the fucking bank. It's really started in 2008, but oh my God, they're just, with these last two bills, just fucking money out the door. And the laws, there's all kinds of people saying in this massive bill that they're passing right now that no one's read, there's all kinds of stories popping up about weird ass shit that's in it. Of course, there's the legal exemption thing, or the liability exemption for corporations. So you can't sue your employer for making you work in an unsafe environment for COVID and dying or something, which I think I wish that say Bernie Sanders had been pushing for $2,000 a month retroactively back to the beginning and held that hostage, and threatened to filibuster it because they really seem to want that. But honestly, because it doesn't matter, give it to them, whatever. That they want that for the stock market. Okay. That's just takes off the possibility of getting sued at all. So you don't even have to pay for the lawyers or going to court or drag this shit out. But even without this, this obviously corrupt, utterly corrupt. They'll be talking about that as just in history books for hundreds of years. It's just one of the most grossly corrupt things.
Oh yeah, we've entered a real new age of just open federal corruption.
Here's the thing: it doesn't really actually matter.
Sure, yeah.
That was an it's a gross, just absolutely mask off, like, corrupt thing, but no corporations were really going to be held accountable for
Of course
anything.
not.
You
Yeah.
weren't going to get through a court with your suit.
Let's say, yeah, corporate liability. How could a corporation be liable for anything? It's not a person, except for donating reasons.
Yeah. Regular people were never going to be made whole by, doing class action lawsuits and challenging corporations for being made to work in unsafe conditions. That was never actually going to happen. So really, from where I'm sitting, they should have people like Bernie Sanders, who were, did the most for people in this, if it was not enough, should have held this utter corrupted, disgusting thing hostage for the $2,000 a month retroactive, for the $600 extra unemployment benefits retroactive, for longer continued unemployment benefits and eviction moratorium stuff. They should have held that hostage and ultimately traded it. They should have traded. Take the money for the working class. Let them do this horrendously, blatantly corrupt thing that isn't going to matter anyway, right? It really wasn't going to have any effect. So I don't know. I think they fucked that up personally, but then again, I'm a poor person.
It's just astonishing acts of cruelty. And to bring it back to Seattle, we had our own mini version of this
God.
where we were believing in science and trusting the experts and whatnot. And our Democratic mayor, with the, help of, SPD, ran literally, it looked like that scene from They Live where they rouse the homeless encampment They Live with the fucking police lines and shit, just beating the fuck out of everybody. It was literally just that, right?
Yeah.
In Cal Anderson Park on Friday, they did a massive sweep of the homeless there, which the stranger joked about on their Twitter thing. Congratulations to Mayor Durkin for ending homelessness. Who knew that all you had to do was just shove them out with cops?
Yeah, and they hit other encampments in other parks during the day. They did the whole bit where they tell, look, it's everything we've seen. It's everything we know about the sweeps. A lot of,
It's not new cruelty. This is a continuation, right?
Look, they showed up with literal bulldozers and dump trucks. Some other good details. They pulled up with mobile porta potties for the sweep workers.
Yeah, something that the residents who've been living there had demanded, but they'd actually welded the bathroom doors shut in the park so that they wouldn't be able to use the bathroom. It's just an act of cruelty. Plus, so
they'd be getting away with something.
Well, and also
shitting for free.
Well, also it gives them the news burn too of saying, well, these homeless people are here and they just defecate everywhere and pee on the sidewalks or whatever. That's part of why they lock the bathrooms up too, is right. It's to create the spectacle, right? That allows them.
Well, this was a fucking spectacle.
Yeah,
this was and to what, you've got to wonder what purpose. Again, I come back to this, what we said about Mayor Jenny, this is someone who there is nothing else to her but service to capital. There's nothing else there.
Yeah.
There's no personal morality. There's no political intuition.
Yeah.
It's just capital is demanding this.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the cost, just do it. Do it so that they can see it being done. And the absolute cruelty. And look, those people, wherever they got scattered, all their belongings, their tents, the things that were keeping them barely out of the elements that you may have experienced today. Seattle parodying itself with that fucking rainstorm today, and then snow, and now it's below freezing out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are probably soaking wet and are going to freeze to death tonight, literally.
Yeah.
Solidarity to the people who went out and made their displeasure known, who made it known that there are people in this town who are disgusted by this, who went out there and yelled at the cops and got arrested, and who helped barricade the place, and who've been doing the community work, like bringing supplies to our unhoused neighbors across the city.
Yeah. And there are various groups currently that are trying to again, get new tents for people and stuff like that. People should give money to those groups.
Yeah. But and seriously, solidarity with all of you who went out there. We have to do that. We have to stand up and say, as this kind of violence is being done to human beings in your own fucking city, you have to stand up and say, that this is like a crime against humanity. You have to make them make it a spectacle, because they'd also happily do it quietly too,
Mhm.
but and then just have Capitol be happy for that. But you make them make it a spectacle. After all this, I mean, Jenny's not even running again.
Mhm.
There's this massive pandemic on that they've been doing this throughout, just basically wanting these people to die, I guess. And you know what, showing up, it's not going to stop the city from doing these kinds of things to people, from brutalizing people like this. Showing up individually, I'm not saying don't do it, you have to do it. I might have liked to have been there. I was working myself, but I've been to others. To go up against the police state that wants to do this, the capital interests that want to do this, you're going to have to take power from them. And the battlefield for that is not at the locus of the crimes against humanity that they're doing.
Yeah. It's not going to be at Cal Anderson Park, basically.
It's again, no shade. And I'm saying keep doing that. We have to keep doing that. And, but there's got to be there's got to be a larger war fought here, a larger class war fought. And it doesn't happen where they're doing the worst crimes against humanity. It happens where their interests are.
Yeah.
It happens where capital's interests are. It happens where money is being made.
Yeah. Well, speaking of capital interests, while the homeless were being moved out of Cal Anderson Park, somebody moved into Seattle's historic labor temple, and that is local businesses, a social club described by the Puget Sound Business Journal, a social club for business owners, is moving into the labor temple. And the only reason we bring this up is they're clowning on us, man. This is what happens when you are power. This is what's called a metaphor in the business. You have nothing. You have no power.
They're like looking at you, waving, saying, haha, we're the Joker.
Yeah, this is, Terrell Owens spiking the football on the Cowboys star when he played for the 49ers and like dancing on the star, right? This is straight the clowning on us, man. And this is the thing you do when you're hapless, as the Dallas Cowboys were at the time, right? And I'm glad that I lost everybody with the sports metaphor. But anyways, the point being is...
You saw my eyes glaze over.
But the real head's got it. But the thing is that, part of capitalism is, when people refer to like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos as like reptoids and reptiles, they're not the crazy ones. You're the crazy one if you're getting mad at them for that. All right. Like they are fundamentally inhuman people. Right. That's why people call them reptoids and reptiles. That's why people believe that they're fucking reptiles with a human mask. Right. Because they are inhuman people. And when they control the fucking society, they make you inhuman. They steal your humanity piece by piece, whether it's dragging your ass to some shit fucking job just so you can live, month to month in an apartment that you might get evicted from at any moment, or making you watch shit like this, them sending their fucking death squad out to a park to fucking evict the homeless a week before Christmas so that they can freeze to death in some, abandoned area of the city where, out of sight and out of mind, right? They're stealing like little bits of your humanity by making you watch this stuff and making you sit through it and all this shit. And, part of going out and, resisting these things is trying to get some of that humanity back. But the other part of it is, collective struggle is getting your humanity back. And that's what we need because they've stolen it. They're making us into them piece by piece. Don't become Jeff Bezos. Don't become mini broke Jeff Bezos.
I mean, the next step, they'll be tearing the building down, right? Because like all that is the labor temple, that is a shadow of a labor movement from 100 years ago that does not exist.
Look,
didn't ever take power from capital.
Yeah, it did not succeed in its mission, or else we would not be here.
Yeah.
Right. Well, along with the labor temple is a new temple downtown, and that's the Amazon Go store, my friends. And
oh boy,
of course, we have a true believer, a true cleric of the new order, Danny Westneat.
Fuck, one of the dumbest
Yeah.
motherfuckers alive in this town. Like, just a fucking, like, dumbest dog shit human being.
Yeah, I had joked off mic or whatever that I would give our like an entire like yearly Patreon earnings, which is millions of dollars. I would give that away right now to know what Danny Westneat gets paid by the Seattle Times and what a regular reporter at the Seattle Times gets paid. And then I would just clown on Seattle Times reporters all the time about it. I'd just be like, you realize you're getting like half a Westneat check right now, right? To do actual work.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so Westneat, he's got a sweet new piece. And Colin, I think you were going to tell us all about it, right?
I was, yeah. So this was posted on the 18th. And the title of this one is, What Does a Ray of Hope Look Like for Seattle in 2020?
Well, that's good. I'm glad that we're going to find this out because I think we got a little grim there, Greg. For a little bit.
This has been a real downer so far. You know, what with the Holocaust of the poor and marginalized in this country and in this city. Yeah, cheer me up, Colin. I mean, Danny.
Yes, well, the ray of hope is commerce because it looks like an Amazon Go store.
Imagine seeing the Amazon Go store and feeling hopeful.
Cha-ching!
Yeah, so this is getting built on 4th, but maybe he mentions
Sorry,
that
it's
in
not
peace.
cha-ching. It's just a beep, isn't it?
Yeah. When the telltale brown paper went up on windows downtown, signifying a new business coming, some passersby.
That's not just like a detail to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's like he loves seeing the telltale brown paper. What the fuck are you talking?
He is like
there's a
Dickens
what's the new
it's
enterprise going to appear in my neighborhood?
What new tree?
Can't wait.
Yeah, he is a
wow,
boy.
money being made, real estate being used for commerce. Like, what a fucking psycho! Shut the fuck up already! I am over this shit.
He is a boy on Christmas morning who storms.
He wants to tear open the wrapping paper.
He sees that wrapping paper.
It's like a fucking Christmas present. If he doesn't actually make that analogy, then he's a fucking moron.
Some passersby started wondering, and by some passersby, we know that just means Danny.
Yeah.
Who is crazy enough to open a store at such a dicey spot for crime in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah,
it's such a dicey spot for real estate prices. You mean?
Yeah. But I love that too.
Yeah.
Definitely opening a store right now. Crime is your problem.
Yeah, crime. Not real estate prices or the thing he did actually mention, the fucking pandemic. Yeah. The crime. My God, the crime.
The area near a section of downtown that police call the Blade started the year with a horrific daytime shooting and went on to endure riots and pandemic closures to make for the toughest year in street retail since the Great Depression.
Again, the fucking pandemic. But I'm already getting a picture of the future here, okay?
Yeah.
So Amazon Go Store, the whole point is to automate the grocery store, right? So that you don't have to pay fucking grocery store workers. Everything's automated. You go in, you don't even have to do the self-checkout. They know you come in, your phone. They use like fucking machine-taught computers with cameras that watch what you buy and various other methods. And it pings your account as you walk out the door. So you need, theoretically, a very small staff to run a store like this. You need stock people. Eventually, they'll be replaced by robots. That all the shelf, everything will have to have like a negative space behind it, like warehouse space behind every shelf. They'll have to build them that way because the robots will go. You'll never see them, but they'll be like inserting stuff in the back of the shelf, you know. But so the idea is like a low number of staff. Now, already grocery store workers don't get paid that much, but what I'm picturing at this Amazon Go store is a place where you barely ever see a grocery store Amazon Go worker, but there are like 6 overpaid security guards.
Yeah.
And that's the future, right? That's the way our economy is going, right? Like, get rid of all the jobs we can, especially, everything you can automate, but replace it. If you take away 10 regular jobs people that actually want, that provide a service that people actually need, replace it with 5 fucking cops.
Yeah. Well, like 80% of jobs in America will be 3 categories, which will be cop, security guard, and prison guard.
Yeah,
Like,
right. It's just,
like
it is the
3
exact, this
categories that
is going to be a little microcosm of like the fucking rural industrial areas that like have gotten like deindustrialized and replaced with prisons, you know?
By the way, I love that every just hack fucking reporter in town always does the area that police call
The Blade.
Because, you know, some cop told him that anybody who's ever like known a cop or talked to a cop knows that every cop is convinced that they were like in Mogadishu in like 98 or whatever, right? Like they, you know, they jerk off to these made up stories of how dangerous their fucking job is and everything. And I love that the reporters, they're in it too. Like they're just circle jerking with the cops, like, oh, tell me more about the Blade. Oh my God. And it's such fucking horseshit. like not one of them, when the cops are like, police call it the Blade, not one of them is when to tell the cops, shut the fuck up. Like record low crime. Shut up. Like you fucking dork.
Wait till you hear this next paragraph. Oh man. Okay. When the orange sign went up the other day, revealing it would be one of those Amazon Go no cashier convenience stores near 4th and Pike, it was a bit like a flower. Okay, a really rich flower.
Oh, he's a good writer.
Through some rubble.
Oh, he's such a good writer. What beautiful imagery. You know he was excited about that line.
Yeah, he's loving it.
He loved it.
Again, Christmas present was the correct answer here, but
yeah. Well, that I love too. It's, you know, this is the thing that we had talked about last time, the Mudede thing about how like the real neoliberal city is actually just empty.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, part of why these people love the Amazon Go store is that it has no people in it.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to, you know, look, you don't need to pay that worker to be there. You don't also need to think about transporting them to work or housing them, right?
Yeah.
You don't need a neighborhood, and they don't need to commute from the exurbs and take up space on your fucking freeway. You know, you don't need the 10 grocery store workers. You just need the 5 security guards.
It's really gross too that he's continuing to double down on this metaphor of a ruined city when they actually just completely resurfaced 4th and they took a whole car lane out. There's now like a bike lane. It has the protected parking for bicyclists. Like,
I think we covered it on the show, but when Seattle's like right after Seattle's Dying came out, 2 years ago or whatever it was, Danny had an article where he was like, they say Seattle is dying, but real estate prices keep going up. You know, like it wasn't like he did anything like good with the article. It was just one of those like, oh, you know, can you believe? And I love that now he's like, nope, city's dying. Only it's one lone flower, Amazon Go.
Psycho. A downtown advocacy group said they believe it's the first new storefront spotted since the coronavirus hit about 10 months ago.
Weird. I guess that's because of crime.
Yeah, right. Not because Amazon stock has probably doubled in value in the last 8 months.
Or the reason why you're not seeing new businesses has nothing to do with crime or whatever dumb excuse he's about to give, but coronavirus.
Yeah,
the obvious answer.
Maybe they're thinking ahead. Maybe they're seeing their business explode because they'd cornered the online market and during a pandemic, and they're seeing more brick and mortar, a rare opportunity that combines like a massive boon to them and a final nail in the coffin of brick and mortar outlets, and seizing the opportunity to get in wherever they can. They're probably they're probably going to speed up their launch for Amazon Go nationally. Like they're probably working on doing that right now, right? Because they're like, holy shit, we can't let the fucking other grocery store chains get back. They're probably building like 40 Whole Foods around America right now.
Well, that, and I mean, the thing that I would never acknowledge in this article, but it's like the Amazon Go store isn't appearing there despite crime or poverty. It's appearing there because the city is liquidating its poor population, right? Like, this is a sign that the liquidation is commencing apace, right? This is like, watching the synagogue get knocked down and replaced with a church in like 1940s Germany and being like, wow, crime. New business moving. Interesting.
I think Amazon is saying with this that they can see through to the other side of the pandemic and all the challenges Seattle is having right now, said John Scholes, head of the Downtown Seattle Association, the DSA, as we know.
Yeah, local Seattle DSA.
There's otherwise lots and lots of vacant storefronts.
I think Amazon's looking through to the other side of this and thinking, we're going to be the only business left in America.
Yeah,
we will buy everything.
Yep.
It's
Small
almost
business
like
extinction event.
Yeah, this just accelerated their plans by 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, the level of monopoly that's going to come out of this crisis is going to be unfathomable, even for people.
You're not going to care. You're going to be dead.
Yeah, even for God, hopefully, even for people like in the golden age of like monopolies and like 1890s and shit. Even they would be shocked by the sheer. They'd be shocked by what we have now, but like the sheer level of things that like Amazon's going to control. The fact that Disney will control every entertainment that you can watch or listen to, and Amazon will control everything that you can purchase, eat, whatever. It's going to be astonishing. Very excited.
Yeah. By his group's running count, this horrible year has killed off 155 businesses in the downtown core alone, 82 restaurants, 48 retail storefronts, and 25 other businesses have closed permanently, according to the association. The tally includes big retailers like Columbia Sportswear and downtown's only full-service grocery store, Cress IGA, but doesn't count the scores of plywood plank shops that are just hunkered down, waiting for better days.
Yes. Definitely mentioned the plywood on the windows. That's why they're hunkering down. Again, not the rampant pandemic that has actually forced them by governor's order, many of them, to shut down.
Yeah, he's really not getting this at all. I mean, all these companies, these big companies, again, like Amazon, they have more money now than they have ever, literally ever. Yeah. So it's very easy for them to build this now.
When he talks about Columbia Sportswear closing its physical location, it's like, you know why they did that? Because Amazon exists. I mean, this is the thing that we talked about in that Soul of Seattle horse shit, is that like for all the efforts to try and create this tenuous link between crime and businesses closing down, it's like the two obvious answers for why businesses are closing down downtown Seattle is because Amazon exists and it's putting those businesses out of business here like it is everywhere. And COVID, like, it's so fucking obvious, which is why they have to, dissimulate and hide that fact as much as possible. The fact that it happens to coincide with their, extinction plan for the poor in the city. What a coincidence that they managed to make those two dovetail. But.
It may get worse. I went into the Pacific Place Mall on Pine Street the other day, as we know now, the soul of Seattle. And it was like a scene from one of those disease outbreak movies.
Oh, you mean the disease outbreak? The disease outbreak you're living through was like a scene from one of those disease outbreak movies you see all the time. It was like one of those movies where 300,000 people die in the country and nobody does anything.
He's on the level that he is truly the perfect American, okay? Because on the level that he's processing all these, he's like, huh. You see the connection I just made there? We actually are going through a pandemic. So it is kind of, he's like, that's pretty clever, isn't it? You fucking idiot! If you had any humanity to process this on anything like a human level,
mm-hmm. By the way,
you would understand that this is like those movies. 320,000 people are dead.
You know what's not like those movies? In those movies, the state usually attempts to do something about it. Whereas here, they just do everything to ensure that it keeps happening, right? That the disease keeps going. That's the one thing that's different.
This is Dawn of the Dead. This is just people left yelling at each other on TV. That's all that's left.
Yeah. We're in the bunker. We're in the missile silo in Day of the Dead, and we're just fighting amongst ourselves over who's going to get eaten by the zombies first.
All right, so I'm gonna reread this because he had a second part of this sentence.
Oh,
So-
sorry. We
No,
interrupted.
No, that's okay. I stopped because it was just too on the nose. So it was like a scene from one of those disease outbreak movies where the hero shows up and everybody has perished, but he doesn't realize it yet.
Well, I like
Loud.
that's just weird because what he means is a post-apocalyptic movie as opposed to a disease outbreak movie. But he's so fucking stupid, and all this is written just in one draft. You know, like he just does one go at it. It's like
That he's
whatever.
spoken to his phone, probably.
yeah, dictating it. It was that shit that they used to have Dragon software
Yeah,
where he's just
Dragon.
dictating into it. Yeah.
Loud, happy Christmas music echoed through the mall's atriums, with most of the stores either totally empty of customers or closed.
That's very unique to malls downtown. Definitely go to Northgate where it's very lively. Things are going on. Definitely people aren't running.
Yeah, all the Northgate crime.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is crime. There's those guys that are running the unlicensed car wash in the Northgate parking garage. Big ups to those guys. But yeah, I mean, just amazing. This again, I love that all this stuff is disingenuously. I mean, this is the Seattle's dying model, right? But disingenuously portrayed as if it's unique to these like particular areas of downtown Seattle, and as if malls aren't just dying around the country, like everywhere. Again, literally because of Amazon. Like the beast that's killing these things is in the city. That's the one thing that they got right. They just keep pointing towards some guy with literally $0 sleeping on a sidewalk, as opposed to the world's richest man, and asking, I wonder where all that money came from.
What a fucking moron.
Yeah, this is incredibly simple-minded, but that Amazon is choosing this moment to go all urban pioneer and send up a flare of hope in Seattle is intriguing.
Oh, tell me more.
Relations between the company and its hometown city have hardly been smooth. At the corporate level, it's widely thought the company is hightailing it to Bellevue and elsewhere, though Amazon hasn't said that. On the street level, during some protests, vandals in the crowd often seem to preferentially seek out Amazon-branded things to smash.
I wonder why.
Fuck is he? Jesus Christ.
But also, like, I mean, Amazon branded thing, that's like such a weird, like, because the problem is there's not really been anything Amazon branded to quote unquote smash at the protest, because they only have like, I think 2 of these little stores.
Yeah.
And they're both like off the beaten trail or whatever, off the beaten path. So nobody's been over at them. So I like it. I'm just imagining him picturing them like seeing Amazon boxes like in the dumpster, and then people go, no, and like, disassembling them and stacking them flat to show them or something. I mean, what could that possibly mean? Other than he's just desperately trying to come up with some bullshit fucking, reason to show that Amazon is the attacked, party in this, as opposed to the one that is literally bleeding all of us dry.
Yeah, it's quite tortured in that regard. Wait till you hear this quote. They have definitely been targeted, Scholes said.
Yeah. The richest company in human history, whose wealth has been just unimaginably expanded during COVID. But yes, they've been targeted. They're the victims here.
Yes. Yeah. The company that doesn't allow people to take bathroom breaks.
Yeah. The company that they literally just had, as they always do every month, but just had another expose about how their warehouse workers, like a significant portion of them are homeless. Like a bunch of them live on food stamps and shit because they pay so fucking little. I remember when they used to do the thing about how like migrant homeless workers would just live in the parking lots of these Amazon warehouses during the high seasons. And they'd have these like charming stories about it. And they're like, they're Amazon campers just having fun going from one warehouse to another to do work.
We did an early episode on that.
Oh, yeah, I think so, right? Yeah.
That's how you know about this, Brian. We told you.
Yeah, that's
Never forget.
That's how anybody in the city knows about anything. So congratulations, listener.
Bro, we taught Brian everything he knows.
Mm-hmm.
I think wasn't Amazon the one that brought the suit to the Supreme Court about whether or not you can be paid for the time you have to wait in the fences to be pat down?
Yeah. No, it was brought against Amazon,
right?
Because they were demanding to get paid for it, and Amazon actually cited a law that had been passed specifically for mining companies, so that the mining company wouldn't have to pay the mine workers for the like trip down the mine shaft. Right.
Amazing.
And it was truly astonishing because it was one of those moments of like,
That's part of your commute.
when it was handing the baton off from like the evil mine owner to Amazon. Like, take us into the future, Jeff.
Incredible.
Yeah, and they've been involved in price fixing schemes, especially most notably in books, but that's just a few of their many crimes. But here they are, plunking a store down in the epicenter of it all. Maybe it will be well suited to pandemic times because purchases are recorded by cameras and an app with no human contact. They call it just walk out shopping. That's a link, by the way.
Oh, sweet.
Often,
what could that possibly be linked to?
Here we go. He's about to West nut here. Often the stores have only one employee on site.
Oh, yes. I love it. I want my stores to have as few employees as possible because I do not count myself among working people.
Yeah, what a psycho. Jeez. Fuck. Okay. One business owner on the block who asked not to be named because he didn't want the negative attention that comes with talking about Seattle's problems.
Comes with being a giant shithead in Seattle.
Said the Amazon store is great news because it's, again in quotes, a sign of life for the neighborhood. Yeah, the neighborhood, the one that shuts down at like 6 p.m. or did before the pandemic because everybody that was there left and went home.
Yeah.
But just walk out shopping is nothing new down there. Here we go. You ready for this pivot here?
Oh my God, that rules. That's so fucking good.
It was shoplifters that ran off the Bartels and the IGA on 3rd, not the pandemic, he said. So that one employee thing, they better be ready with lots of security.
Called it.
Yeah, there you go. All of Seattle SWAT is just going to work down there at the Amazon Go store.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, again, we've mentioned this a million times, but it's worth just mentioning every time it gets brought up. We literally know why all those stores left, which was a combination of Amazon running brick and mortar stores out of business, as well as high real estate prices, which all of them complained about when they left because, property has gotten so fucking crazy expensive in the city. And the fucking pandemic. I love that they just keep just tossing it out of hand. Like, surely the pandemic had nothing to do with the fact that honestly, this store you have to go inside of and stuff is doing poorly,
Yeah, and the fact that everyone's broke.
Yeah. I mean, one, nobody has any money, and two, people are not going into stores, right? They're ordering shit off of Amazon.
Hundreds of thousands of people starving is going to have an effect on the grocery store business.
Yeah, on the IGA. But yeah, I mean, this will be in 3 years when, after the like business extinction event that is this pandemic happens and everything gets monopolized as owned by 3 companies, this will be the official narrative, was that it was because of crime. Like the pandemic will be completely written out of history. Like whereas we talked about the 1918 like flu and stuff, that this is my prediction. In 50 years, the pandemic won't even be in history books. It'll just be completely written out, and they'll be like, there was just a lot of urban crime in the year 2000 or 2020, and that's why everybody had to become homeless, and everybody now is like a indentured worker for fucking Amazon. Urban crime did it.
Tech has so dominated Seattle and the pandemic that it's probably fitting our ray of hope would come in the form of an automated, cashless, unstaffed convenience store. So 2020 goes.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I love it. Give it to me.
The other big downtown news is also a form of progress, I guess. But it's a sad day as far as union people are concerned.
Oh my God, he actually mentions this in here. Holy shit. I love, by the way, union people. That classic group. Union people.
Union Americans.
Yeah.
But he identifies it as a bit of progress first.
Oh, yeah. Eradicating any sort of labor organization is always the first step to progress in any country.
The historic Seattle Labor Temple on First Avenue in Belltown, the main meeting hall, office space, and drink-up spot for card carriers since the 1940s, has been sold to a developer for $11.4 million.
That's weird. That seems like a lot of money for a building in a crime-infested hellhole of
Yeah,
pure poverty.
I wonder what they're thinking.
Yeah.
As this newspaper's Ron Judd wrote a few years ago,
You can't make this up. Ron fucking Judd. As classic human, Ron Judd wrote once.
yeah, maybe that's the Judd scion. For 7 decades, it has hosted some of the city's most passionate debates about unionism, local and national politics, civil rights, and other matters of concern to Seattle's decidedly left-leaning movers and shakers. Countless national politicians have given stump speeches inside these walls. Civic campaigns have been birthed and buried. Heartfelt arguments made for or against potential workplace strikes. So the one thing that jumps out to me here is that Ron Judd could at least kind of write.
Yeah. He at least went to 1 year of fucking journalism school, unlike Danny.
For better or worse, people remember. I sure do. I covered a bunch of those political debates, and my own union, the Newspaper Guild, held tense meetings there when we were in a showdown with the Seattle PI years ago.
It's so funny to think that Danny is some sort of old hand at journalism.
Yeah.
Consider it's not every article you read from him. It's not just that's like reading an article that somebody wrote for the first time. Like this is my first article. It's as if they've never read journalism either, right? Like it's classically shitty writing. So I'm glad that practice doesn't make everybody perfect. Apparently,
I mean, Danny's the guy who, in all these, tense labor negotiations, as over the years, as a newspaper business was shrinking in this town, he was probably the fucking scab, the stooge for fucking management, who was always shitting on the idea of any sort of work stoppages or strikes or any conflict with management, and thus never got the layoffs. He never got the pink slip as newspapers just downsized steadily. So he rose to the top to well-paid columnist.
Yeah. He was the human embodiment of Scabby the rat.
Yeah.
The unions are said to be decamping to a building in Sodo, while the developer, Fowl, plans a renovation
Sure enough.
and preservation of the landmark Art Deco building. All good. But then, the Puget Sound Business Journal revealed what's coming next. The Labor Temple, long the gathering place of Seattle's union members, is set to become a members-only social club for the business set. Of course it is. 2020 can't get any 2020er than that.
My God.
Westneat out.
Loving it. He's loving it. Fuck that. Fuck all this shit.
First
Fuck
off,
Danny Westneat.
I love that Westneat basically, in a lot of ways, is kind of iterating the same thing that we were just talking about prior to reading this horrible article. He's basically, because it's all so obvious and right up there that it's easy to see. He just thinks it's all cool.
It's like, wow, check it out.
Yeah,
check out what's happening.
He thinks it is, in fact, neat. Yeah, that sign-off piece, 2020 can't get any 2020er than that, is like...
Am I right?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you
Westnut out.
Yeah, seeing like a 40-year-old who's writing for BuzzFeed and trying to act like a 20-year-old would put in a piece, right? Just painfully bad.
I mean, this was basically like an overlong Facebook post that we just read. So. Cool, that sucked ass.
Yeah, that was atrocious.
Fucking brutal.
When can we draw and quarter him in the street? Maybe down in front of the Amazon Go store?
Yeah, right at the Blade.
Yeah, take him to the Blade. Can you imagine how cool that would be?
In a video game? Yeah, if there was a video game about that.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, that was another wonderful romp through Seattle and through this wonderful country. So with that, I think we should probably bid adieu to our wonderful, beautiful listeners who, by the way, can just go over to our Patreon page and for the cost of one item at an Amazon Go store, $5, could become patrons and listen to all the beautiful content that we have. So much content. Yeah, so we have a history of Harry Truman and the start of the Cold War. Part 3 is coming out soon. I believe it's going to come out next week, so that we can make room for our doom charts to be read. Our friend Cassie's going to look into the stars and see how each one of us is going to die. So if you want to know the date, location, and cause of death of all 3 of your hosts, and I got news for you, it's all the same place, same date, same time, same cause. Tune in, become a patron, find out.
Yeah, it's when we climb into the deep fat fryer that ends up being a portal to the Mr. Beast burger.
Well, what I like about it is of knowing the time and place of my death and who it happens with, is that I know we make it through the pandemic, because that means we can get together with Colin again.
Oh, that's sweet. We should end on that sweet note.
Yeah. Oh, I just remembered. They're called automats.
Automats, yes. Yeah.
I guess we'll end on that note instead.
Okay.